Imagine World of Warcraft without the world.
That's how ridiculous. Ain't that just the most ridiculous thing
That's
you've
like
ever
the
heard?
whole point of why we even freaking play this game.
How has WoW lasted so long?
For over 20 years, people have been playing this
Some
game.
people say the graphics are bad.
I'm gonna prove them wrong. I would argue it's one of our modern epics, up there with the Odyssey, or Gilgamesh, or One Piece. But it's not the endgame systems, it's not the story, it's not one particular thing.
What the heck is going on?
What can we learn from World of Warcraft and make our own worlds as charming as this one? We'll go expansion by expansion. We're gonna talk about how the art team and the style of World of Warcraft has evolved throughout the years. And because I'm an indie game dev and I'm working on my own fantasy game, I wanna get better at my skills and break this game down. So our challenge, find one tree per expansion. We'll have a time lapse of painting the tree. And not only that, at the end,
We're gonna combine our favorites and design our own World of Warcraft tree!
we're gonna compare it to the World of Warcraft trees and we're gonna see if we've learned something today. I'm Jackie and this is Game Design Master Study. And go.
What is World of Warcraft, assuming I've never played World of Warcraft?
I'm coming up with 32.33, repeating of course, percentage of survival.
Well, it's a lot better than we usually do. Alright,
chums up.
Ready, guys?
Let's do this. Leroy Dragons!
Oh my god, he just ran
World of
in.
Warcraft is primarily a virtual reality in which you create a character and you immerse yourself in this gigantic world. I thought no better place to start it than Mulgore, the starting zone of the Tauren. This zone is a fan favorite for good reason, and the perfect example of what good environment design is. But what is environment design? It's kind of the focus of how the player feels while exploring a space, specifically curating that to be a specific kind of feeling or experience. World of Warcraft has you make a character and they start in a character-specific starting area. It's supposed to ground you within the world, but also make you feel like the character you chose. In this case, a big minotaur. So the designers made Mulgore super wide, super open, but the trees are actually a lot smaller than other zones. A little bit of forced perspective. These reinforce the Tauren having the biggest player model in the game, making them feel really big. All of these elements have informed choices to make the starting zone of the Tauren make you feel like the gentle giant that is the Tauren. In contrast, the Night Elves,
Different vibe, pretty much.
it's kind of like if you went to the Pacific Northwest, but you wanted to be really sleepy the whole time. Very fitting for playing Alliance, which is a total snooze fest. Now, foliage in general is pretty tricky for game dev. There has to be a lot of it and a lot of invisible pieces. The trunk is more of a standard static mesh that we're used to. And the leaves are essentially like a sheet of paper that you cut out a leaf pattern and then you just staple that everywhere. The issue is that even though we cut out part of it, we're still loading that full sheet of paper. And because we can see what's behind that sheet of paper where we cut it out, we also have to load that. And if that gets way too out of hand, we get an error called overdraw, where it's just really laggy. That, with the limitations of the Warcraft 3 engine, that's where a lot of the creativity comes from, in my opinion. Now, this is one of my favorite zones of all time. It's like going to the Rainforest Cafe, but it's not even my birthday. It also happens to be an excellent demonstration of how to avoid that issue of overdraw. There is a lot of foliage here. If you had limited hardware and you wanted to have really big trees, you would have two choices. You would have a lot of leaves, which is harder to run, so it would be less FPS and laggier. So maybe you can just have less amount of leaves, but make the leaves really big, and then have really big textures. The trade-off would be bigger file size and bigger load times, but it's easier to run. So in Angoro's case, with really big trees, they stacked a bunch of discs on top of each other, and so from the ground up, I think it looks really good. The issue with this technique is that when the zone was built, they did not have flying in mind. And so when you look at it from the side, it is not the intended viewing angle. I did the zone when I was leveling my main, my druid. I really love this zone. I felt very immersed with the trees. I think I still have that raptor pet that you can feed for 30 days to become a mount. I've not fed him for 30 days. So Burning Crusade got a little bit more alien. Ooh, alien. So Outland is on a different planet, which is where this zone, Zangarmarsh, is on. Now, there's not a lot of trees here in Outland. It is a demonic wasteland, but there are these trees of mushrooms. I think these are awesome. Yeah, I think even just one expansion later, the fidelity and the resolution of these models significantly increased. I think these look fantastic. Very pretty, very alien, very... Ooh. Something we've seen so far is every zone has a dominant color. This is blue, others green, purple, and this one red and yellow. It's kind of orange, I guess. I love this zone so much. It's my favorite zone in the whole game. Specifically, that's not Surmar. It's the starting zone of the Blood Elves, also the starting zone of my WoW journey. I love the autumnal vibes. So I wanted to make a Blood Elf as my first character for sure. I wanted it to be a Death Knight, but at the time, I had to have had a certain level character to play a Death Knight because it's a special class. So I made a Paladin, but I was gonna roleplay that he died and turned into a Death Knight. This is still the same character though. I never did that because I realized I wanted to play Druid. It is shocking how much of an upgrade this zone is compared to vanilla zones. I think because there was not a lot of trees this expansion, they had, for the tree budget, how much trees they're allowed to make legally per expansion, they were all focused here because there's so many different types of trees. They're all so shapy. There's also way more geometry this time. I love how they integrated the like sticks into the leaf textures. The whole thing is just very, very good. I love this zone. And with the upcoming release of Midnight, they're about to remaster the whole zone, pretty much. And it's pretty much gonna be the main one, pretty much. So
Yeah, I'm excited to play it, pretty much. I'm excited to play it, pretty much. Yeah.
they nailed it. They nailed it. For this drawing, I really wanted to emphasize the swirly motif. I use a swirly motif in my own game, so I wanted to practice that. I have some videos about that if you want to watch that. But after all this glaze, all this hype, what could possibly fall?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, this was,
Yeah,
that's
okay.
pretty good. Yeah,
I like this one.
this one's nice.
Okay,
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
Ooh, look at that.
Yeah, peaceful.
Yeah, nice.
I feel calm.
Yeah, nice.
I feel calm. Big brother bear vibes. Real big brother bear vibes here.
If somebody's asked what their favorite zone in WoW is, chances are they might say Grizzly Hills. And I can see why. I was not here for the Wrath of the Lich King. Now, I gotta say, I missed out. I did not level this zone. Yeah, I missed out. Everything from the quests, to the creature design, to the trees. This is my I mean, this is a lot like Colorado. This is where I live. This is kind of like where I live at the moment. These are aspen trees, my favorite tree. Look, I'm a deer. Look, I'm a moose. This might be the best.
What over there? Somebody do something! Is this real? Will I see this when I die? Somebody please! Is that who it is? The girl dreams of the end! Thank you, LeBron! Thank you, LeBron!
Thank you, LeBron!
Saved us from Citric.
Crystal Song Forest is a magical, enchanted fantasy forest. It's split in half by the magical glowing aspens and then the normal aspens and also the pink aspens, which I do not think are necessarily normal. Every zone in Wrath sells the fantasy of some beautiful place being taken over or a looming threat of a dangerous entity. In most of the zones, you can see Icecrown Citadel, the home of the Lich King, looming in the background. But they didn't just nail the undead stuff, they nailed the cozy stuff as well. And I think that's a key point to why this expansion did so well. See, the contrast emphasizes both of them. When you're in the cozy areas, it's gonna feel more cozy because you're used to the undead areas. And when you're in the undead areas, it's gonna feel more scary because you're used to the cozy areas. Wrath is what people consider the peak expansion.
That's right. I said peak. Peak.
The graphical fidelity has increased substantially since vanilla. This is due to technical upgrades, but also artists just getting more accustomed to the engine that they're working. Every single zone in this expansion is incredible. The art direction, I mean, come on, the art, incredible. Surely nothing bad can ever happen with a rockstar team such as this. They seem to just put out banger after banger. Game can only go up. Game can only go up, that's what I can say. Game can only increase in quality and in player count.
All will burn beneath the shadow of my wings.
I didn't really like this one as much. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe that's just me. They were forced to update a lot of the zones and do kind of a world revamp to introduce flying into the world. But with loss aversion and player psychology, losing something feels worse than getting that thing. Like if I gave you 10 gold and then I took away 10 gold, the taking away 10 gold feels a lot worse than getting 10 gold. And it's like that, but with the world everybody loved and had an emotional attachment to for the past several years. And due to a lot of reasons, I think it just wasn't able to recapture that. But a lot of the new dungeon tile sets, a lot of the raid tile sets, those do look really nice. Whenever I get to it, because admittedly I did not play this expansion, but whenever I do content from it, it's not really clear what it's about. which is unique to this expansion. I don't think that's like, I don't think I have that experience with anything. And the crazy thing too is like, I know what it's about. Like, I know what this expansion is about, but none of it feels like that coherent, maybe? I don't know, not my favorite. I'm so angry about it. I hate this expansion, I hate this expansion.
My anger is consuming me. My state of being is anger.
How did you find peace? I scarred you for life.
You gotta let go of that stuff from the past, because it just doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is what you choose to be now.
You're right.
God, they're cooking. Oh, they're
Nobody
cooking.
thought they could do it.
Nobody thought they could make Mr. Pandaria.
Based solely on this one character from Warcraft 3. Going from left field, taking it all the way to home run, I think. They went from the boring, mundane Cataclysm to the stylistic, painterly, serene, beautiful. Look at these polygons. Look how creative they are with this foliage. This willow is fantastic. These bamboo forests. They're mixing 3D geometry bamboo with these 2D plain bamboo. What is this? What the? Somebody get that crow! Get that crow out of there! Get that dang crow out of there! It's not safe! It's a ghost tree! Ghost tree! I'm still not sure any expansion has matched the stylization that Miss Pandaria had. When it first released, it was not received too highly, but as time goes on, people understand how good this expansion is, and not only that, I still don't think people have realized how good of an expansion this was. The stories of the zones were local and intimate, music was very unique, obviously due to the theme, and the writing was like wise. The writing is very good. This is actually when I started playing WoW. I have the collector's edition of Miss Pandaria. I really think this side of WoW should be expanded upon. I think there's a lot of room with the Shad, the Hosen, the Jinyu. I have the art book. This is my favorite expansion. All right, I do not want to spend a lot of time here, but the zone design is important. This expansion was a little overly hated. Now, granted, it was a really dumb premise. It's a different planet, but also back in time, which caused a different reality. So it's a parallel reality, but also a different planet, but also it's back in time. Pick one at least, like, come on. It's one of those ones that are good to level alts through, though. I do like the zones. They do the whole environment design thing well. The quests are very good, but to be honest, it doesn't really matter how awesome it is. It's a different planet, a different timeline, a different, like, reality. There's no connection. There's no, like, consequences. You know what I mean? Like, what are we talking about? Like, let's be like, look how gorgeous this zone is, though. They also added a lot of moving foliage, a lot of shader effects on the foliage assets. I loved it. Dog, look at that. Wow, look at that. Golly. To be fair, a lot of the issues were with the endgame systems and lack of additional content post-launch, but they had a lot of technical upgrades, which definitely used resources.
All right, let them cook. Oh yeah, they cook. Let them cook you. Oh yeah, they cook you.
Oh boy. You polled most WoW players, they would say that this is it. This is the one. This is the most fun expansion. Here I am in the Emerald Dream, the Druid realm. This is where WoW really starts to get its footing in its modern art style. The amount of particle effects that they're adding to the foliage, these light shafts, the mists. This is the last zone that you do. Imagine a muted autumnal forest. Very orange, very purple. The whole zone is brittle. And through events of the main story, as you're trying to uncover an ancient civilization, you're allowed access to that ancient city, alive and frozen in time.
That one right there made me the greatest player of all time.
For
That's
so
what I
many
felt.
reasons.
That one right there made you the greatest player of all time. It was the greatest team to ever assemble, and for us to come back, you did something special. That's like one of the only times in my career I felt like, oh shit, like you did something special.
Imagine your favorite zone. This is better. Imagine your second favorite. This is better than that one. I'd say it's better than your third, but if this zone isn't in your top 3, you're weird. You're weird for that. My favorite things about this zone, the whole thing, the quests, the music, the atmosphere, the Nightborn in general. Everything about the zone makes it the best zone WoW has ever made. If they don't clean up Suramar and make it relevant again in the Elf expansion of Midnight, I'm gonna be pissed off.
The jungles of Zoldazar are unlike anywhere else on the world. It is one of the oldest jungles on the planet. It's home to more dinosaurs than any other. Here we can see the aquatic Dimetrodon try to get salt from the river. Zoldazar home to many unique plants and animals. Here we see a family of Compsognathus. Quickly, they scurry the jungle floor. They might be small, but their family in numbers keeps them safe. Get out of there! We almost lost our researcher. You know, this is actually my nephew. It's a small family. Nephew, get out of there! Get out of there, nephew! Please, My sister and his mother were not quite excited to have him go on this mission as old as our Dino Timmy is more of a scientist than she is, so she doesn't know what Bravosaurs are the most dangerous threat on Dino Timmy! Dino Timmy, get out! Get out! You won't get your sponsorship! Dino Timmy! Left hook, Dino! You're right hook, Dino Timmy! Please! Dino Timmy, please! I can't lose another nephew to this, please! Scrap it! Scrap the whole show! We can't put this out!
Nah, this looks sick. Now this part looks pretty cool. Now, will I endorse the story? Probably not. I don't know if I really enjoyed any of War Chief Sylvanas. Remember that purple zone from the first one? This was that, and then they burned it down. Now, the Drust, the Trolls, the Old God stuff, that part all hit. I think people really didn't like the endgame systems, and nobody has liked what Sylvanas has become. Good thing the next expansion is all about Sylvanas. You might expect me to start hating on Shadowlands, huh? You might expect me to do that, huh? You think just because it's widely regarded as the worst expansion WoW's ever had and drove the player counts down so low that everybody started playing a different game and made Blizzard internally really panic about the future of WoW? You think I'd start hating on that expansion like everybody else, huh? Bandwagon? I think Shadowlands actually has some redeeming qualities. Sue me. I think the zones are quite fantastic, except them all. I think the music is quite special, except them all. I think the story, except actually most of the story. I think the local story, listen, I think they should have, listen, I think they could have done actually a lot better stuff with Shadowlands than they did. Oh, it actually pisses me off thinking about Shadowlands all the time. It's not that they had bad pieces, it just wasn't put together. Not only just not put together, but it also actively hurt the rest of the history of WoW. But they were right there, like they almost had it. But the main spine of this expansion were the worst parts. I'll stick to the zone design, the environment design, because like not only were the zones disconnected, so it doesn't feel like a world. The zones were so tight and compact, it felt like an amusement park in an arcade. But if the zones breathed, if they were connected, if they were, now get this, if they were a place on Azeroth that had a special cult, you know, following two places of the Shadowlands, keeping the Shadowlands mystical, they also had an incredible big bad villain in Sire Denathrius, whereas he was the same archetype character as the Jailer, but the Jailer just was worse in every single regard. And then Oribos was like, oh my god, don't even get me started on freaking Oribos. Oh my god. You know what? If you want to hear me rant about Shadowlands, subscribe, maybe I'll make a video about it. Maybe just watch my stream. Ask me about it on stream. I'll start ranting about Shadowlands. I love this expansion, but I also hate that. Like this is, ooh, it gets me. But like there's so much. Like look how gorgeous this is. Like let's be for real. Like feathered heaven trees. Are you kidding me? I really don't want to be mean, but they did do a GDC talk of what they did wrong, so they know. Like everybody knows. And maybe the keen viewers among you have noticed a pattern of good expansion, bad expansion, good expansion, bad expansion. But 2 bad expansions in a row. The curse. What if there's a third? How can Blizzard come back? What if the next expansion is bad? Maybe you had to be there, but this next expansion felt like make or break for the whole game. It was serious. What if WoW dies? Like, what if WoW died? Like, what would I mean? I'm anxious about it because, like, what would we do if freaking WoW? Like, this is our game.
Shadowlands forever.
This is our game.
Is WoW gonna die? Like, actually? What? Like, for real? Are we actually swapping to Final Fantasy? Like, what's going on?
Dragons are awesome! Dragons in a fantasy game, yes! Yes, dragons in a fantasy game, yes!
The world is healing.
You could say that again.
The world is healing.
Say it again.
The world is healing.
Oh. Yeah, okay. I like this one. Okay, yeah. I like this one a lot, actually. Yeah, this one's not okay. Yeah, I see it. Look how big that is. Oh, okay. These are huge. Sometimes the best lessons are the hardest learned. Sometimes the wisest ones are the are the hardest to hurt, are the most hurted. Dragonflight is one of the most important expansions WoW has had, and I think one of the best expansions WoW has had since Miss Pandaria. They figured out two things. They gamified travel in a very addicting, incredibly fun, dynamic flying system. And holistically, the game mechanics warranted the level design to be updated. What do you do when you have a really fun flying system that's really fast? You expand the zones, and boy did they. There wasn't too many flashy things happening on Dragonflight, but they did bring it home. And I think they relearned one of the most important lessons about game design. One of the reasons why people fell in love with the world in general. It's okay to slow down. It's okay to let the players breathe. Players are allowed to fall in love with the world because there's time to fall in love with the world. Players start to connect with the world. It becomes personal. There's a lot of time going from activity to activity now. People like World of Warcraft because of the world. In classic WoW, the players had a lot of time to themselves within the world, but then there were hubs that all the players would meet and see each other again and again. But I do think that is what retail WoW is still missing compared to vanilla WoW. All these expansions are on different islands now. It's not fun to be so separate. I miss being a level 10, seeing another level 10 player. Time goes on, he's level 18, this level 40 keeps passing by. Wait, what the heck is that big tree over there? This is probably the best example of how far foliage has gotten in World of Warcraft. I really think World of Warcraft is best when it's these magical enhancements to a very grounded and realistic setting. Well, I mean, for the world of Warcraft. Like, it's believable that this exists within Azeroth. But I wish quests made other zones and leveling zones still relevant. And to fix all these dang islands, dynamic ship sailing. Think about it. It reintroduced island expeditions too. Fly or swim or sail continent to continent. Have dragons flying out that. Dude, that how cool. And I know everybody wants playable Tuskar. I love that they brought them back, but listen, hear me out. Hear me out. Playable, listen. Playable Furbolg, listen. All of my characters would be bears, unironically.
Something, someone is calling out from the heart of the world. Like a voice from a dream.
There's darkness in the air. Dream, 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 dream.
Something dark is coming, Ardenweald.
So why have people been playing WoW for so long? You spend a lot of time in this world. And good zone design makes the best memories. Because WoW as a game makes you connect with your player character in a way that it feels like an extension of yourself. And immersing your player character within this very intricate, very expanding, very beautiful world, you start to fall in love with the world as part of that character, which is part of you. If you talk to somebody who's played WoW for a while, they'll start to talk about it like their old basketball career. People talk about their old WoW memories like they're real memories, not necessarily like their favorite parts of a game. At the start of this video, I said WoW is an epic, and that's true, but not because of the story or any systems or anything like that. Games are the art of interaction, and an epic of a game has to be done through a grandiose, impressive, magnificent display of player interaction. It's the players that have kept WoW alive this whole time. It's why people keep coming back despite how bad the game might get. But after Shadowlands, they got very serious. War Within was in development before Shadowlands debacle happened, but they quickly pivoted. And with a combination of the incredibly impressive terrain upgrades that we saw in Dragonflight to accompany the dynamic flying. WoW spent this expansion and last expansion really focusing on the base systems and the base game. I think a lot of retail opinion is soured by BFA, by Shadowlands, by Warlords of Draenor, but man, are they cooking. I think they're very inspired by how big they're able to make the zones now. We were in caves a lot this expansion, but I am very excited to get back to normal, regular places outside. But man, has this expansion and last expansion just had incredible zone after incredible zone. I seriously do think that bringing dynamic ship sailing into the game and trying to remove load screens that way maybe coming across procedurally generated or challenged kind of islands of island expeditions along the way. And I think their ideas of neighborhoods for the player housing coming next expansion is one of the most genius things any MMO has come up with. I think neighborhoods will fix a lot of the social aspects that I think really got neglected during a lot of WoW's endeavors into new ideas. So we did 11 very fast drawings. I didn't spend more than 2 minutes on each of them. We're gonna consider WoW studied. Now we're gonna combine 3 of our favorite zones. This is the rules of my challenge. I'm gonna pick the form, the atmosphere, and the colors of 3 different zones. I'm gonna combine them to make one unique zone. These are my favorite, and I'm choosing the Cataclysm one for the color because I feel bad for kind of being mean to Cataclysm. But I'm really inspired by the Horde elves, so I wanted to pick, them. I think the Horde in general is just a lot more visually interesting than the Alliance. I really like the stark colors of like the purples and then the pinks and then like the yellows and reds that Surmar kind of has. But I want to stay away from the mana magic-y. I like the druids, I like the shamans of the world, I like the monks. So maybe it's kind of like a twilight elf, maybe like a druid, that's like about the stars and about like Halloween. I don't know. Halloween was originally a fire holiday, a pagan holiday, Samhain, Irish. And it's about sort of connecting spirit worlds, so maybe it has some ties to Ardenweald. I like the glowing cyan eyes. I like the Drust a lot as a concept, but I think it's very underdeveloped, so that would probably be the main antagonist of this area. I really want to explore more about this zone, so if you want to see me model the zone and make it in Unreal 5, then subscribe and make it happen. I would really like that to happen. I really want to have like a lot of glowing plants and stars, and I would make it really pretty. So this is, I guess us kind of breaking down WoW. We studied it. We looked a lot at a lot of the zones. This took way longer to film and edit than I thought it would. But I really would like to model the zone and make it a reality. I'd even make the elves, maybe some sort of like supernova, Twilight themed elf. I don't know. Just kind of spitballing. Now I am working on a super secret project, and if you want to play test in that game, it is a game. Please join my Discord. That's where all my subscribers like to hang out. I'll post game updates, play tests. When I'm live streaming, I'll stream WoW.
He called me friendly, John. No, I'm not friendly at all. I'm Scary John. I'm haunting you. I will scare the world.
Yeah, I love this video. It's so fun. I hope you guys have a great, fantastic rest of your day. Play some WoW. I love WoW. It's one of my favorite games of all time. Can't wait for midnight. Okay, bye.